Where are you originally from?
And correctly pronounce your last name.
The last name is Perkovic, and I'm originally from Canada, from Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
See, I had guessed Herzegovina, Croatia, Serbia. Would that be maybe your family background?
Robert, you hit the nail on the head. I'm super impressed. Yes, my parents were born in Croatia, as a matter of fact.
Okay, one of the former, probably Yugoslavia way back then.
Exactly.
When did you become an American citizen, and what was your primary motivation?
Well, it's funny. I became a U.S. citizen last August 28th, and yes, I know the date because it was such a beautiful day for me. And I originally moved to America on a work permit, and I had a job, and I was, fresh out of university, and I came to the States, and then it just slowly evolved into, I was good at my job, and so they wanted me to stay, and so we applied for my green card, and I went through that process. And then once I got my green card, you have to wait a number of years before you become a U.S. citizen. And I tell you, the first chance I got to apply, I applied immediately.
Why?
I'm doing a road trip right now, and I will tell you that it has underscored and punctuated my belief that America and Americans are just special, unique. This is an amazing country. I mean, I say to people all the time, I have a passport. I just became a U.S. citizen. I can choose to live here or not live here, and I still believe that this is the greatest country, and I absolutely love it, and I consider myself privileged.
Explain to me, because, see, I've spent my whole life in the USA. I mean, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Bermuda a couple of times, I've been to Canada a few times, but I haven't spent any extensive amount of time in another country. You're Canadian, you've lived in the USA. Explain to folks the difference between America and Canada in I want to give up my citizenship of my homeland sense.
It's America to me is still the land of opportunity, and it's the land of dreamers and doers. And I truly believe that this is still a country where you can come and say, I have a dream, and I believe the American dream is still alive. And, growing up in Canada, I'm very grateful, obviously. It's a beautiful country, and, I had everything a kid could have asked for. I got an education, and, I came here, and by the time I came here, I was in my sort of early 20s, and so I feel as though I was still impressionable in a way, and I feel as though in nature and my mentality, I became American before I even got my citizenship. This to me is still the land of you can work hard, you can achieve something. And being in Louisiana, I was out in a neat city and in Livingston Parish just the last few days, and watching people after the flood. I saw how that flood ravaged parts of Louisiana, and watching how this community came together, and people were helping everybody, even if they didn't know one another. And that, to me, is the spirit of America, and that's, I think, what I appreciate so much.
Let me ask you this. Your blog is called My First Election. What are your overall impressions of how we do an election? Do you have some skepticism?
I don't know necessarily if it's skepticism per se, but I do think that this election is just, it is what it is. I don't even know the proper words to describe it, but...
More than a little nutty?
Yeah, that's it, Robert. I think it's so crazy. And I kind of feel like I've always loved politics. If my mother was on the phone, she will tell you, even as a teenager, I would be watching American presidential politics, and I've just always loved it. And I feel like oh my gosh, I think I won like the election lotto, that I cannot believe that this is my first election that I can actually vote in, because it's been just a circus.
What will matter to you as a new citizen? What are the critical issues for you in terms of who you will vote for?
I love that you asked that question, Erin, because as I drive from St. Petersburg, Florida, all the way through to Los Angeles, California, that is sort of the question, interestingly enough, that I'm asking my fellow Americans on camera. I'm asking people, okay, so you've been an American citizen a lot longer than I have. School me, educate me. Who are you voting for? Why are you voting for them? What do you think are the top 3 issues that I need to consider as I head to the voting booth? And it's truly remarkable, the vast, just the difference in answers. And I feel as though a lot of people right now, myself included, to answer your question, Erin, we're concerned about, security, military. We're concerned about, obviously the economy. And then also, I get the sense that there's sort of the tone and tenor of how we speak as a nation and how we do things has changed dramatically. That's what I'm getting from people. And so I feel as though there's a lot that's, very important. It seems as though this election is going to be almost a defining moment. Maybe it won't be, but that's the feeling I get.
Just got one more quick question for you, Miss Diana. As
Sure.
a former citizen of Canada, now a United States citizen, getting a gun in Canada, well, you can't. I mean, you have to have a permit in Canada and go through a mile of bureaucratic stuff, red tape, to get a BB gun. People think I'm exaggerating. I'm not.
No,
Do you own a gun? Are you most intrigued at all by Americans' love affair with firearms and specifically the Second Amendment?
I'm sort of the mindset that the Constitution is the Constitution is the Constitution is the Constitution. And so if the Second Amendment says you have the right to bear arms, well, I think that should just supersede everything else. And while I don't own a gun, it's funny you should ask that as well. It's something that's sort of on the agenda. I really want to go to a range and just check it out and try one on for size and see what it's like.
Be sure and do it while you're still in the South.
Right. Exactly. But no, it's, I just feel like if that's in the Constitution, then we do have the right to bear arms, period. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not that well schooled on the gun issue. I just want to preface what I'm about to say with that. But from what I understand and from what people tell me, we're not even enforcing the laws that are on the books. So if that's true, why don't we just start there? If your chain falls off of your bike, do you throw out your bike and go buy a new one? No, you fix the chain and see how that goes first. So maybe that might be a good place to start, at least enforcing the laws that are on the books. But again, if it's in the Constitution, it's in the Constitution, people. Let's just find a way to make everything work.
Just got a text from a listener. We'll wrap up with this. Diana Petrovic, Canada, United States citizen. The quote is, here's the text I got.
Okay.
Here it is. I love this woman. New citizens get it so much better than those who take it for granted.
Oh, can I tell you? Not to sound trite, but if we were on camera, I would show you. I just got goosebumps. So to that listener, I say many thanks. I truly am grateful to be in this country, and I hope that, myfirstelection.tv will educate me and maybe, help others as well, because this election really is just cuckoo town. I don't know what else to say.
When you pull through Shreveport on Friday, Robert has volunteered to take you shooting.
Absolutely. Right here in our backyard. It's
Yeah.
Louisiana.
No. Are you kidding?
We'll borrow Matt's AR-15.
Are you kidding? Because you better be for real. I'm coming out there, and I'm definitely it's on like Donkey Kong, Robert.
All right. He's with you. Y'all got a date.
It's going to be awesome.
Amazing. Amazing. Guys, thank you so much for having me on. You were both so delightful. And just, again, I greatly appreciate it.
Safe travels to you.
Thanks, guys. See you Friday, Robert.
All righty.